has yet still found me repeatedly kind of confused as to what day it is.
I am all for the 4-day work week where we do 10 to 12 hours. 10 hours probably nice.
Yeah.
On those 4 days.
I'm for that too. Yeah.
Because it does, this squarely feels like a Balls McWednesday. It isn't, and that's great.
I agree. I was just driving here believing that it was Wednesday and thinking, man, I really would like for us to get to the getting, as I like to say, with the baseball getting started. I'm eager. I'm excited about the games. And then I went, oh, wait a minute. It's Thursday, baby. Tom, just as we begin to do this now, I don't really do this all that often, although that's not true. I guess I'm fibbing. 85 days, 23 hours until the start of college football. Man.
Wow.
85. Starts, I don't know what the number is, but you start, okay.
No, 85 did it. We're done here. It did. I'm like, ooh, do we have enough time?
Do we have enough time to properly mentally and physically prepare for the work to be done in preparation for college football?
Oddly enough, now if you asked me yesterday during one of the segments, I'd be like, please God, tell me there's 40 days, not 86 days. But for some reason, 85 does the exact opposite. I go, ooh, that's a little too close. Don't we need a little break?
Push it back, guys. It's happening too fast. I don't know if I can take it. Part of it is, and again, I keep thinking about, I don't know, just the status of Florida State, and there's such a mystery. There's no mystery as to what happened a year ago, but there is some mystery about what's going to happen this year. And in some ways, Tom, this is what is really the impetus for the conversation on the regular these days. In any previous era of college football, it's all a moot point, meaning at 2-10, the coach would have been fired. We would be talking about a new campaign with a new head coach. There's a chance that in a previous era, the athletic director would be close to being let go, if not let go, after a 2-10 season. You would know that you were many years away. You would know that, look, it's going to be hard to reestablish a foothold in recruiting because 2-10 is 2-10, and you don't bounce back from 2-10. In previous eras of college football, it was the death knell. That was the end of a run for a coach. But that is not true anymore. And it is, what keeps the college football fan in limbo, but it's also very NFL-like in that it gives you hope coming off of a disaster in ways that previous seasons could never have. There would have been no hope to latch onto. The only thing you would have latched onto after that in yesteryear would have been that you hired a new coach. And you would have been excited to see the process play out and how he establishes whatever differences they're going to be.
Well, you hire a new coach at Florida State and you're going to recruit well. That's the thing that that's the cycle is we're good. Oh God, we're not good anymore. Oh Lord, we're going to have to fire him. Hot board season. Who's available? Who wants to come to Florida State? Awesome. We got him hired. Who are his coordinators? He's going to be badass on the recruiting trail right away. Awesome. And then we know that the football is going to be great, but all these kids are going to say yes to us. That was the old cycle. Now, even if you were to make a head coaching change, there's no guarantee that you would get that first-year surge in recruiting because you got to be able to bring the NIL with it. That has to be a total package. The new car smell and the smell of a briefcase as it opens up and there's money inside of it. So, yeah, it's the cycle is a little bit different, but we are also squarely in recruiting season in general. This is the month. They're hosting however many official visitors this weekend, and everybody's poking the program with a stick. And they're saying, come on now. I don't want to use the two-word phrase that Willie made famous, but we're poking somebody with a stick and say, move, please. Would like some yeses? Any yeses?
Yeah, the problem is we don't look at recruiting the same way anymore either. So even that, I don't know, would excite me. It would beat the alternative.
It would beat the crickets.
It would beat the crickets. It would. I do think that we're somewhat subjected to this now because you can't change the momentum until you play games. People might get excited about some of the new coaches, but your head coach is the same. And you did go 2-10. And so until you play some games, I don't really know that you're going to see any sort of momentum.
the era that we're in this moment in college football and at Florida State simultaneously is akin to going to a restaurant, sitting down, looking through the menu, great options. All right, my heart's set on this. You order it, and they say we're out. And you go, okay, all right, no big deal. I'm going to pivot over. You know what? I was going to do sea, now I'm going to do land. Let's get this. And they say, we're out of that too. You weren't told that they were out of things when the server got to your table, but you try 3 times to order a nice entree, and they're out of all 3. That's what it feels like as a Florida State fan right now, because the football product on the field, we're not sure. The recruiting process, well, we're just coming off a 2-10. There are all these hurdles that don't allow you to have a thought start to finish. We're just caught in the middle. College football era that we're in. The House settlement, is it going to help? I don't know. Is the judge even going to rule for it? I don't know.
It's about to be June.
And July 1 is when this is all supposed to go into effect.
Yeah, there's no chance, Tom. Well, this is part of the larger conversation that we were kind of touching on before, and I want to continue to reiterate. We have had the discussion about the different proposals for the postseason and the seeding and the automatic bids, and this is what they're debating. And we all know this has to be answered for and decided by December the 1st. So you're either going to get the 4-4-2-2, 1-1, you're either going to get that or the 5+11 like we talk about. And I think we know what would be beneficial for the ACC and what wouldn't. And I think we know the reason people are frustrated, and we're beginning to see the public sniping. I am a lot like you. I want to press fast forward. Now, you get to be my age, it's dangerous to fast forward days. So you want to immerse yourself in the present. because
it's a gift.
Well, the reason I say that is wanting to press fast forward is because we think there's an inevitability to what's going to happen. And we're just kind of wasting our time sitting in limbo, which really is what has upset the college football fan, I think, across the country, is that, hey, wake me up when this is over and we have some sort of tangible system that's been agreed upon with real rules that have teeth. Just let me know so that I can reinvest, because right now I don't have time for this.
In its own way, it's kind of akin to the feeling we would get on a Friday or a Saturday before the COVID season. You don't know if there's going to be a game. You don't know who's available for the game. So you just kind of sit and you wait. And we literally did a pregame show in which the game was canceled during the pregame show, where we took calls for another half an hour and then said, all right, we're going home. Because it was announced that Florida State had too many people test positive. And you're just like, okay.
Well, yeah.
But you would think about it all week, and we would always say on a Monday or a Tuesday,
what's our contingency? Yeah.
Well, if we play, this is what we think is going to happen. If this guy's available, this is what we think he's going to do.
Well, that was an impossible limbo to be in. That was awful. And it didn't work for anybody because, a lot of guys an hour before the game, you're trying to talk about strategically what can happen. And you're like, well, that's if our right tackle plays. Yeah, that's a toughie. And you did it in about 7 different segment groups, offense and defense combined. You're like, well, we don't know who you have at linebacker, not real sure who's starting running back, and I'm not sure anybody's in the secondary that we know. And yeah, that was
the most important part of the day, was getting the updates from the press box.
Yeah, we would sit around
and actives.
When we were doing pre-games, we'd sit around and we would be texting Ira like, hey man, 52 out there warming up. We seeing pads. So the point is 16 teams, 4 SEC auto bids, 4 Big Ten auto bids, 2 ACC auto bids, 2 Big 12 auto bids, 1 group of 5 auto bid, 3 at-large bids. That's one proposal. The other is, of course, 1 auto bid for the ACC winner, 1 auto bid for the Big 12 winner, 1 auto bid for the Big 10 winner, 1 auto bid for the SEC winner, 1 auto bid for the highest-ranked group of 5 conference champ. Obviously, whatever provision they're going to put in there for Notre Dame to be sure they get into the playoff, and 11 at-large bids. Is the way you would look at that. They exclude the text about Notre Dame. I add that in there for purposes of context. And they're different models, and we're talking about a $1.3 billion future of the playoff and everything else. You don't want to be in a limbo when this is at stake. It's interesting. What you don't like is you don't like the public grandstanding that goes on between disingenuous power players like a Sankey, for example, trying to tell you in any way, shape, or form that they have the best interest in college football at mind, when of course they don't. And you don't need to be spoken to like a child, and we push back on that. But at the end of the day, you do want resolution. Which one is it going to be? And I think the ACC would prefer the 4-4-2-2-1-3 model. That's, to me, the ACC's best option. I mean, honestly.
Sounds like a soccer formation.
It does. Like, you're going to really how many times do you think you're going to be guaranteed, if they go the other way, to get 2 or 3 teams in?
Oh, well, look, I mean,
if they go the 1-1-1-1-1-11.
Yeah, if you're going,
5 plus 11. Yeah, if they go that route.
Hey, I know that number pretty well.
Hey, now.
That's my height. It's already begun with the SEC from the top on down. The politicking and the stumping against the committee, questioning the legitimacy of the committee, questioning what a win and a loss is versus what an SEC win and a loss is.
Yeah, we agree with them on one thing. I question the legitimacy of the committee.
Sure, but they're not doing it for the good of the game. They're doing it so that when all at-larges come due, they're just all going to be SEC teams, the way that the NCAA basketball tournament was when they got 14 teams in the damn thing.
The problem is, though, and again, we do this, it's circular, we continue to do this, they did hand the ACC its ass in overwhelming fashion when they went head-to-head in basketball's ACC-SEC challenge. So immediately they were above and beyond anything the ACC could argue. So now it just became a competition between them and the Big Ten as to how many bids they were going to get, and the Big 12 too. But you could see that their supremacy was real, and then they backed it up in the tournament.
Well, what did we get? 3 in? Were they really 5-1 better? You know?
I think so. I think the ACC was pure ass. I hate to say that.
5-1 better?
Oh, buddy, this league is garbage in basketball now.
You can have 10 in. Okay, 10-4, and then spread out the other bids to other conferences. 14-3? It was what they're looking for in football.
I know what you're saying. I think it was a unique year last year, just like the ACC the one year had all those bids and dominated the tournament. It's legitimately, it can happen.
Sure, and people were doing backflips over 9. Was it like 9 bids?
Well, you remember when the Big East had its unbelievable
14?
run?
But when it's 14, it's like you just show up and, okay, you're good enough to be in the tournament. All right, just by playing. Just by playing in that conference, by nature, you must be good.
It feeds itself. This is what ends up happening. But it's not as if they didn't have out-of-conference successes against the other leagues. They did. So we can't pretend they didn't. They won those games. That matters.
I wouldn't argue 10. 14 is,
it seems excessive. But getting back to this and the football-related stuff, this has to be decided by December the 1st, so I find it fascinating. I find the whole thing fascinating because they're going to make a decision, and this is going to be voted on, and they're going to have a system in place that we're all going to have to abide by. I say we. It's not us, but that the college football is going to have to abide by. But where there will be certainty there, whether we like it or not, there is uncertainty with all the other stuff governing college football, and such as whether or not there's actually going to be a salary cap. Most of us don't really believe that it's going to go down as proposed, and it won't go as smoothly. We don't believe, for example, that you're going to have a cap. Everybody's going to have exactly $20.5 million to spend on their roster or on their sports, and Deloitte's going to oversee and make sure that everything is okay and that nobody's doing anything unscrupulous and that this is being abided by. No, because we think there are going to be lawsuits that challenge that, any sort of salary cap on what a player can make. We think they're going to be caught up in court for years, and that sort of limbo is not good for business in the game of college football. I don't think we're too far away from seeing a drastic drop in popularity for a sport who currently rates second best in the nation. I think if they don't remedy this, people will walk away. They'll do it. They will get tired of it because they'll say, it's rigged. And not rigged in the way that people love to conspiracy theory everything when their team doesn't win. I'm saying rigged as in the system is in place for very select few to succeed. And that would be fair to say and obvious.
Well, sure. I think it's already leaning heavily that way. If you get the 5+11, which is what the SEC coaches want, they're doing flavor of the month. They're not thinking 10 years. They're thinking the next 2 or 3 years. And they know that their conference is going to turn out the most pro prospects.
Correct.
That Vegas spreads are going to favor them. And so,
And frankly, they'll be better.
And 8-4 will be good enough for them to get in over a 10-2 team in the Big 12 or the ACC. That's what they're betting on. That's what they think is going to happen. And if they bully people, they bully the committee right now in late May, early June, and they start that process, banging the drum for it, 6-7 months out before the decisions have to be made. They think they're going to be successful, that next year there won't be two ACC teams in a similar situation. You would get South Carolina in instead, or you would get Ole Miss or Alabama in instead of some of those final entries from at-large conferences, at-large entries from other power conferences. I think that's going to happen. If they go 5-11 on the 16-team format, I think that's going to happen. And what sucks about that is there still is a meritocracy to the college football playoff. There still is a meritocracy to any college postseason. If you win the games in front of you, that's all you can do. But it's only going to get more reflexive for the SEC if they have 9 conference games. I mean, sure, they're going to be favored on a neutral field, but if a team like Alabama is capable of losing to Vandy and they're capable of losing to 6-6 Oklahoma 2 seasons from now, they get in just because they're in the SEC. That's what they're pushing for right now. That's how they're trying to stack the deck.
Yeah, they're pushing for that because 9-3 Alabama didn't go, and they lost to a pair of 6-6 teams. So they want assurances. But the problem is, and this, I mean, come on, to listen to Sankey tell people that strength of schedule doesn't matter, just not losing games is what matters. Yeah, okay, buddy. Come on, man. Florida State went 13-0. Stop that. You know better. The bottom line is those, and I just pulled that back up to make sure I had the records correct. That is correct. The reason that 9-3 Alabama didn't get in despite an overwhelmingly good and strong strength of schedule was because they had 2 losses to 2-6. They had 3 losses total, 2 to 6 loss teams. The 2 teams that got in over them rightfully went 11-1, Indiana and SMU from lesser conference. Well, Indiana's in the Big Ten, but they didn't get in because of their Big Ten schedule. They had an awful Big Ten schedule. They got in because they went 11-1.
Yeah, but you put them on a neutral field, Alabama's going to win that game, so Alabama should be in.
No, we can say that and speculate that, and I believe that. I believe Alabama would have killed Indiana. I believe lots of teams might have. I don't think Indiana was very good, period. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that.
Right, and that's the argument. So he's making the argument that by nature, because they're a better football team and because on a neutral field they'd be favored, they're going to get in. They are trying to work it right here, right now. This is the beginning of that campaign. They're not waiting until November. They're starting the campaign right now.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a leg to stand on because nobody could make the argument that the committee was anti-SEC. They can't, based on their history and based on what were the criteria. They cannot. And now, yes, he's going to try because that's what he does. And he's paid handsomely to do exactly that.
That's the one thing he's coordinated head to toe, though. All ADs, all coaches are singing the same song in that regard. Maybe not on the format of what's to come in the future, but they are all singing the same song when it comes to this is ridiculous that these other teams, these other peons got in instead of Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina.
If you're those 2 leagues, it's as simple as this. Basically, what do you got to go back to? 2018 when Clemson won? So 2018 Clemson, I can double check that. I should have, but I think that's right. Every other national title besides that one has gone to the Big Ten or the SEC in the last 11 years. I mean, they are the 2 best conferences. It's not close, and it is dominant. Clemson's been the lone bright spot because we're over here screwing around, save for we got screwed 2 years ago. I think that the fairer system is the 5 plus 11. But I think the ACC would be wise to take the 2 automatic bids and hope that they could get a third with the at-large, the 3 at-large in any given year. That's the best they're going to do, in my opinion.
Yeah, because, I think by definition.
I don't care about the ACC, but we're in it.
I don't either. However, somebody's going to have a super easy schedule in this godforsaken league. It just is. There's not enough good teams in it. So somebody's going to have.
Like Indiana did with the Big Ten.
Right. Somebody's going to have a nice little open skate.
Louisville,
all the way. Louisville a couple of years ago. Yes. Last year, SMU. I mean, come on, man. Yeah, we were on their schedule, but were we us? No. So they skated to Charlotte, and then wisely they put pressure on the committee in the moment to make sure they were going to get in. I don't know that North Carolina is going to parlay much of anything into a record this year, but their schedule is laughable. So there's always going to be one of those. If I'm the ACC, that team gets tucked in. there's going to be one team that's actually good, and then there's going to be this other team that's probably better than the one auto bid that got the freebie schedule, but they're going to have a nice win or two, and we'll put them in that extra play-in game that the ACC has on a conference championship weekend.
The auto bid, though, goes to the conference champion. So you still got to win the conference.
Yeah, you could designate that, though. I think that's what's coming here in the future is it might be the regular season standings.
Yeah, you say the regular season champ is in, and I'm not going to make them play in my conference championship game. These other two teams are going to play. The winner will go.
Yeah, it's going to be a play-in game. Yeah, if they had a 2-team auto bid thing, sure. Why would the regular season champion go to Charlotte? I would tell them that they don't need to go.
Right, but this is the hang-up that we highlighted last year. SMU had to make the playoff last year. They had no choice. If these conferences want to play conference championship games and have them mean anything, then you had to put them in.
Sure. I don't think we're arguing anything here. I think that if I was under a 4-4-2-2 model, I think last year the ACC would have just said SMU is in. They are our designated conference champion. We're going to have Clemson play somebody else,
whoever the third best.
Or they might designate them and Clemson and say the two of them are in. And then we are going to put together a game
the better path,
featuring our best contenders for the playoff, and we want the world to see what they can do.
That's actually fun if you view it from a college football fan base standpoint. Like, you just like the game. I'm fine with that. Like, if you're like, listen, they went 11-1, SMU is in.
Right, and you get like a Miami-Syracuse rematch last year, something like that, or Miami, whoever the fourth team was in the ACC.
Of course, understandably, anybody that was against all of this expansion for the reason that those losses and or wins aren't made to mean as much. Like, it mattered that Syracuse beat Miami in that final week.
Yeah, huge.
Greatly. Ask Miami just how much it mattered. It would suck to have yet another layer of it doesn't matter. They're going to play again. Man, that's kind of annoying.
Yes, or you could actually get some work between the conferences for the greater good, which is you each have designees and they play in these games for at-large bids. Maybe that's what you do, and it's crossover. So Ole Miss would get a crack at Miami.
Now, boy, that would take unprecedented agreements and understanding of the greater good.
There's your ratings, there's your money. Essentially, there's an extra round, and it's a play-in tournament. I mean, all the leagues have experimented with that in some variety, a play-in or a one-off. Even baseball did it after 162.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, my Buccos were on the wrong end one year.
Oh, hey, man, we lost Bumgarner the next year.
Bumgarner did that to both of our teams. He shoved, single-handedly won the World Series for the Giants one year. He's just going to start 3 times and come in relief at one point. I am an X-Man.
I am who am.
I know we got to go to break. That was long. It's college football after all. What are you going to do? My friends at Tried and True Consulting is a payments and business solutions company. You know that already. They're also seemingly these days omnipresent in the community, and I appreciate that about them. Look, you process payments if you own a business, and you're not really as concerned about who does that other than does it save you money and is it protected? Are you safe? And are your customers safe? Well, Tried and True will guarantee that. And they'll also give back 10% of their net revenue to the Battle's End. They have many, many layers of what they can provide your business in terms of exposure, what you do well, whether that's the ad boards that are all around town that they are also putting up at businesses that do business with us here on the Jeff Cameron Show. So I would invite you to scan that QR code or give Don, Joe, Rusty a call today at 844-464-6653, 844-464-6653.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. We're proud to offer models built right here in the USA. And you win because the 2025 Pathfinder and Rogue are priced below last year's models. These offers should help you get that new car before summer vacation. Pathfinder has 0% interest for 60 months or $3,000 bonus cash. Or lease the Murano SUV for just $498 a month with just $2,000 down. And step up to the top-of-the-line Platinum all-wheel drive for just $598 a month. And we've got 3.9% for 60 months on 2 of Tallahassee's favorite Nissans, Frontier Crew Cab and Rogue. Or get $3,000 Frontier or $1,500 Rogue bonus cash. And at 0% for 72 months, our Aria and Leaf EVs are rolling off the lot. Or get $7,500 customer cash on these award-winning EVs. You see, we've got your next car, vacation in style, compliments of Kraft Nissan. And once again, I'll say it. Remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag in your car, you paid too much, way too much.
Craving something different? Discover the bold and surprising flavors of Peru at Café de Martín. From sizzling lomo saltado to savory handmade empanadas, every dish is made with heart, history, and soul. Crafted by classically trained Chef Martín himself. It's not just food. It's a trip to Peru without the plane ticket. Swing by Café de Martín today and taste the tradition. Café de Martín. Authentic Peruvian. Right around the corner.
Quarterman, you're walking crooked again. What happened to you?
Well, I was sitting at the boat ramp sipping on a margarita when my alligator Hank decided we needed to go water skiing.
Oh, no.
Next thing you know, Hank's strapped to 4 skis and I'm hanging on his back and the boat is pulling us out. It was all going great till Hank spotted a duck in the lily pads and wanted to jump the wake.
Quarterman, you're crazy. No wonder you got hurt.
Yep, 1 second it's air, water, air, then bam, now I can't even bend over to put on my own water skis.
Well, Quarterman, you better get over to Thin Chiropractic right now. You can book an appointment online and take advantage of the new patient special.
Special offer online? That's easier than wrestling an airboat off a sandbar.
That's right. Just go to thinchiro.com. FENNCHIRO.com. FENNCHIRO.com.
That's it. I'm headed over there boogity boogie to get straightened out.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text BEAT to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text BEAT to 42424. That's BEAT to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Rolling on. Got news. Didn't get to it in the opening segment because we were talking big picture college football. Here's a little bit more micro college football specific to Florida State. Florida State's home football game well, it's not just home. Home game September 6th against East Texas A&M will begin at noon.
Good.
A little noon action.
Get it out of the way.
It's going to air on the ACC network, everybody's favorite network. Housing Florida State, East Texas A&M at noon, which is a good thing because if you lose to Alabama, say 41-7, I don't think we'll lose to Alabama 41-7. I think there's a path for Florida State to win the game. I don't want people to get it twisted.
All right.
But let's just say a disaster like that were to occur. You'd need to know that you could still watch the game when you don't attend the next home game because you will not. So this way, you know, you'd have access to that game in the comfort of your home in the air conditioning and not have to give of your time and money by traveling to Doak for an inferior product.
Well, I just want to know what all the hot deals are for those 1-800 number bulb head stuff, you know, those products that they sell. You know, I'm a little low on alien tape, so I'm glad to see what the pricing is going to be.
I like it.
And then I'm sure there's going to be another thing or two that a product I've never thought I needed that is going to be brought to my attention that I absolutely must have, and I can get 2 of them all I have to do is pay express shipping and handling, but it's no extra cost.
And one fair, easy price. Yeah, that's it. Just your initial cost. And then they'll add in the extra pair of sunglasses.
God, I love the bonus offers.
There are more games that are now known as to the time and location that they will be shared. And before I get to them, I would say the ACC network, if they're going to constantly sell things you don't need and that are cartoonishly poorly made commercials, should take stock in the way that Instagram does it. There may not be a more effective model to get you to buy things than the way that Instagram targets people based on your viewing habits. They get me all the time. I buy all kinds of nonsense. I'm forever going, oh, that does seem like an excellent gardening tool. Yeah, I find my... Look at that. I didn't know I needed that.
Did govx.com get you yet?
What is that?
You haven't seen those commercials?
No.
Oh, my God.
What is it?
I almost don't want to tell you, and I just want you to see.
Is it on like
it'll be
social
like
media platforms?
No, it'll be on TV, like a network that has not sold a thing, and they just need to run something. They will run govx.com commercials. And
I don't know what that is.
A bunch of people coming up to this guy who's like in fatigues, like, "Hey, where'd you get those boots, man?" And
oh,
like, govx.com.
Oh,
and then at the end, there's a cop that comes up to him. He's in a locker room. He's all this. It's about this guy, whoever owns it, because he's in the octagon at one point, and somebody asks him.
Oh yeah, great.
So the cop walks up to him, and it's like the 5th time he's been asked. And so he goes, govx.com. He types it in his phone, and he shoves it in his chest, and he points his finger in his face, like aggressively. He goes, use it. I was like, oh, all right.
I have not
fantastic.
Seen it. Oh,
exactly as I describe it. You'll love it.
3 road game times and TV designations. Friday, September the 26th, like a high school game. Florida State will be on the road in Charlottesville against Virginia, and they will play at 7 o'clock on ESPN. All right. That's good.
Reasonable kickoff.
That's time. Good. All 7 o'clock kickoff on ESPN. Exposure. The nation can't wait. Saturday, October the 18th at Stanford. Talk about a running kick in the boys. What are we out here doing? 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. If you don't make the trek out to Palo Alto, which it is a beautiful place to visit, you're going to be napping somewhere after the late afternoon games to get yourself ready for that 10:30 kick against Stanford.
This was always going to happen.
Yes.
When Miami went out to Cal, they want to get a big brand from the East Coast and put them on in the West Coast primetime slot. So that is going to be a watch along. This has already been discussed. We discussed this last year.
Buddy,
there's
you
no
know what kind of
show.
Danger you're putting Warchant in by having me do a watch along at 10:30 p.m. on a Saturday night?
I didn't necessarily commit you to it.
Well, there's no great watch along if I'm not in it. So I'm just letting you know right now that you're going to have to govern me. We're going to have to do something to distract me.
Well, we're either going to be in a very good position or a very bad position as a program by that time of the calendar. We'll know because we'll have played our marquee games against Alabama and Miami. So we're going to have a good sense of where things are trending. So, but it could be a very salty watch along, or it could be a very fun and festive watch along.
Woo! Mark your calendar, kids, for the watch along October the 18th against Stanford, 10:30 p.m.
Knowles after dark, baby.
Yeah. That'll be eventful. Hopefully we play well. November 21st at NC State is going to be an 8 p.m. start time on ESPN. Again, I like the prime time. Obviously, we open the 2025 season in the all-new and revamped Doak Campbell Stadium August 30th against Alabama at 3:30 on ABC. There it is. So once again, schedule looks like this. At least amongst the knowns. Alabama 3:30 opener August 30th. September 6th, a week later, East Texas A&M at noon on the ACC network. Kent State TBD. Virginia, Charlottesville, Virginia, 7 p.m. ESPN on a Friday night. October the 4th, TBD. That's Miami here. Kind of hope it goes back to the olden days and we kick it off at noon. October the 11th, Pitt, TBD, Doak Campbell Stadium. October the 18th, Stanford, Palo Alto, 10:30 p.m. Watch along, already designated Tom and myself, ESPN 1030. Wake TBD, Doe Campbell, Clemson, South Carolina, November the 8th, TBD. That needs to be 8 o'clock. Prime time, the world watching. And that needs to be Florida State rolling into Clemson, having lost just one game. Let's go. Something on the line. Real hope is in the air. Virginia Tech, Doe Campbell Stadium, TBD, November the 15th. Off to Raleigh, the Piss Palace, 8 p.m., ESPN, November 21st. The Carnival will not be in town, so maybe the urine balloon bombs will be kept to a minimum. November 29th, Florida, in Gainesville, TBD. That's what it looks like as we speak.
So I was looking and searching and hoping that on September 6th, when we have the noon kickoff, that there would be some interesting games later that day. Because when I see a nooner, my first thought is, oh, what's on at night? I can watch the primetime games. I'll be done.
Oh, sure.
Michigan, Oklahoma, an elite uniform game.
An all-time great uniform game, yeah.
And then not quite much else.
Michigan, Oklahoma is awesome.
Ole Miss, Kentucky. Boston College, Michigan State. I mean, yeah, the Pickens are, oh, never mind. Excuse me. Forgive me, everybody. The Cy-Hawk Trophy
buddy,
will be played on September 6th.
You almost blew it.
And Oklahoma State at Oregon. That's a strange uniform game.
Another great uniform game.
Also, low-key, Illinois at Duke.
Pretty good uniform game.
That's not a bad game.
It's a decent game. It's yes, because they're kind of the same. They both had surprisingly good seasons last year.
Race to 24.
Old Fat Bielema has got it going at Illinois, buddy.
And then old Mensa with Manny.
Yeah, it's something right now. Let's get it going here in Tallahassee. Let's get it rolling here in Tallahassee. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A man is behind bars after allegedly shooting at a woman following an argument Tuesday morning. Keyshawn Jones faces a charge of attempted murder with a deadly weapon. Jones and a woman were involved in a heated verbal disturbance in a nearby picnic area. As the victim walked away, Jones reached into a backpack, pulled out a handgun, and shot at her once. The woman ran away and Jones walked away before leaving in a car. Officers located Jones nearby. After a thorough investigation, officers recovered the gun and he was arrested. The woman did not suffer any injuries. 2 men were injured at Cascades Park on Memorial Day after a mishandling of a firearm. Several people were in the area when a 19-year-old man and an 18-year-old man and a 17-year-old were mishandling a gun, causing it to discharge. The 19-year-old was hit and the 18-year-old was grazed. They are both expected to survive. No arrests have been made, though the investigation remains open and active. This is Rachel Anay with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Storms likely this afternoon, otherwise overcast. High temperatures reach up to 89. South winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Slight chance for storms tonight, 71. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times tomorrow. Chance of thunderstorms. High temperatures reach up to 89. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Current.
Tell me a joke. The first song I tried to write was about a tortilla, but it turned into a rap.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Macklemore Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Macklemore Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
Choose Hearth and Patio for custom fireplaces, maintenance, outdoor grills, kitchens, fire pits, lighting, and so much more. Check out all of Hearth and Patio's options online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
There he is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude, I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean, you know.
No, I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Jeff.
The sandwich There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Appreciate you. Optimist Climb in the chat asked a question, contributed to the cause, and we appreciate that always. Discussing the schedule, is FSU more likely to start 4-0 or finish 0-4? Also, how do I become a paid YouTube member? Tom, answer the second part first.
Yeah, easily. If you're watching on your desktop or your normal computer, next to the name of the channel is a join button. Click the join button, and it's right there.
The 0-4 to close down the stretch would involve losses to Clemson, Virginia Tech, NC State, and Florida. Weigh those odds while I give you the first 4 games of the season for Florida State. Alabama at home. East Texas A&M at home, Kent State at home, Virginia and Charlottesville. It is more likely that Florida State would finish 4-0 to start the season than 0-4 to end the season, in my opinion. Barely.
Yeah, I think basically that question is getting at how winnable do you think the Alabama game is?
It is 100% the question. If you believe that Florida State can beat Alabama and that it's not a fait accompli, then you're going to be 4-0. Because if you beat Alabama, you're certainly not going to lose to East Texas or Kent State, and you ought not lose to a bad Virginia team, regardless of the fact that it's in Charlottesville. So really, you put all your money, if you're going to bet on that, by saying it's the Alabama game. To me, Florida State has a chance, certainly, to notch a victory over the likes of Virginia Tech or NC State, and they're not devoid of opportunities against Florida and Clemson at the end of the season. Now, I don't think that they're going to beat Clemson on the road this year, and they're certainly not going to be favored to beat Florida on the road this year. But at home against Virginia Tech is a very winnable game, as is the road NC State game. I believe NC State's going to have a poor season.
Exactly. Yeah, they've lost an awful lot. It's the one spot on the schedule, the final 4 games, that's a little bit tougher because you'll play NC State on the road on a short week after hosting Virginia Tech, your last home game. There are no breaks in there. However, this is a double bye year, so there really shouldn't be any complaints about freshness and rest and all that kind of stuff.
No.
The spot for the Alabama game is ideal. If you're going to play Alabama, you want to play them in week 1 when everything is volatile.
Well, and let's think about it this way, too. If you're creating a path by which Florida State beats Alabama, let's just start with their quarterback making a first career start, right? Against on the road, first career road start against Florida State. And the rules having changed regarding the clock mean that you can shorten these games. Stylistically, Florida State almost certainly will by running the football the way that they want to run the football. And if they're going to have any success, they're going to need to run the football. So these games will be shortened with running clocks. And if you put game pressure on an Alabama team, though heavily favored, it'll be interesting to see how they respond given the number of losses already on the register for DeBoer and the pressure and the anticipation for them to win this game against a 2-10 Florida State team is fairly significant as an overwhelming favorite. This game, to me, will be decided, oddly, fairly early. I think the question will become, are you tough enough to survive a chin check early? If I'm Alabama, I run the ball at Florida State's linebackers and say, are you good enough? Are you strong enough? Are you tough enough? I don't think you have enough depth on your defensive line to handle the rigors of a downhill rushing attack with a bunch of NFL offensive linemen leading the way. And Alabama will have that. If the answer is you are strong enough to withstand that, and this is to your point about why, Tom, you want this game played early, your lack of depth, which might become a significant factor throughout the course of the year, is not a significant factor the first game of the year. So you don't have to worry about the war of attrition that is football and getting to week 6 limping in because of the previous 5 games. This is the first game. Can you handle the first half chin check? If the answer is yes, you got a game in the second half at home against a team that's not real sure of itself. You got a shot. You got the more experienced quarterback. You're going to run the football.
Yeah, the thing, it's funny, now that you're playing the game out and you're thinking about relative strengths and weaknesses, the thing I'm most concerned about defensively, where our defense is on the field, is the shot play down the field. I'm not as worried about the run as I am communication in the back end of the defense. They just told you by going into the portal and grabbing a starting corner that they don't feel good about corner, or they didn't. They didn't.
Yep.
And
They do now. I like the kid they got.
Right, exactly. So they did address it, but it also tells you they don't love their depth there right now.
I don't think they love their depth anywhere.
And safety, they were trying to get a starter and they couldn't. And I'm terrified of safety right now, because also Tony White's defenses, if they get got, it's usually down the field.
Yes.
So
I'd rather get got down the field. I don't want Alabama putting together 12-play drives, playing smash mouth football, and wearing down a segment group that doesn't have the requisite talent of depth. So fine, get beat over the top a couple times. I'll live with it. We get the ball back.
Yeah, well, now you're playing what's the race to, and the digit is a 3 if you're thinking that way.
Yeah, I don't want a belabored, 12-play drive in 100-degree heat, and they're running the ball downhill, leaning on our defensive line, which lacks depth, and our linebackers, which lacks depth. I'd rather you just get beat over the top. Now, listen, I don't want to give up any of it. Nobody does. But if you're going to give me my druthers and you're going to give up a touchdown either way, give me the quick shot. I'll live with it. I know statistically the impact, the psychological impact of giving up big plays. They always talk about what that does to a defense, what that does to the mentality of a team. But I actually think it's way worse this time around with this depth issue, having a team put together a laborious 16-play, I'm going to run it up the gut.
I think, yes. I think it's an interesting question as it relates to Florida State. What's better for Florida State here? Because I could see both sides. You want to run fewer plays if you're not the better team.
Correct. And I think by running the football in the manner that we're going to attempt to run the football, if you have a modicum of success, you're going to run fewer plays. You're shortening the game.
Right. However, a shot play would beget more plays.
Yes.
Not fewer plays. And the other thing is, the other consideration is we want to run at tempo. So,
well, this is
do we choose to run tempo against Alabama? Because that would be potentially reckless, but it could be very successful because maybe the first game of the season, you catch them and they're so confused and now they shut down internally.
Well, you got to win first down then.
If you do that enough and they're confused enough, maybe some demons from last year's Alabama failures rise to the surface and they've got to worry about their own sideline.
Look, we're a decisive underdog, so there's a reason that both scenarios seem less tenable. I mean, when you lay them out, you're like, well, I don't like that. Well, I don't like the other either. And it's because you're really having to overcome something here. You're not the better team. But, Tom, if they win first down, then they can run tempo. Florida State can, if they win first down.
Yeah.
And really, I think it's how he kind of negates some of the weaknesses of his offense at times.
That's what he would argue is he'd say, I'm forcing these guys to be hesitant. I'm forcing them to not get all the checks in from their sideline.
Yeah, I'm negating some issues. Yes.
So the confusion is going to give me a half a step or a step when I really need one because they're a step faster. Like, that's how Gus would argue. He's like, I'd rather lose that way than hold back in third gear when I want to go fifth gear just because I'm trying to get to the finish line here at 24-17. I think the best way for us to win is 31-24. And that's where Mike has to step in and be like, green light, love it, or say, whoa, man, that's also the path for us to get beat 41-21. So I'm trying not to get beat 41-21, and I think I'd rather.
But Mike's never played to keep it close. He's never been a guy that's like, well, I can change the score to make it look better than it is. He's always played to win the game.
I'm not saying to be Siggs in the playoff against Notre Dame. I'm not arguing that he should do that. I'm not trying to come at it with a defeatist mentality, but I do think it's important not to get blown out in this situation either. And so if I've got two long shots, or if I've got two underdog scenarios, which one would I rather go after here? Would I rather go after one that sees this game total 47 points or one that totals 58, 60 points.
You don't, and no matter what you're deciding, if it's from a position of weakness, meaning you're not the better team, you're certainly not going to share these talking points with your team. Like they have to believe they can win. You're going to coach it however you're going to coach it. You'll know early on. I mean, you will know early on. The terms will be dictated or they won't.
I think the danger here and also the allure is that this team could blow out people and get blown out a lot easier. The way that they're going to play.
Yeah, the boomer bust.
I think that's the way they're going to play is there might be 3 or 4 20-plus point deficits, and we might win 2 of those. We could. Because it's really a sprint. If Gus gets what Gus wants to do as the game plan, they're going to sprint.
Yeah, but you're allowed to take your foot off the gas up 21-0. I mean, if you're housing Virginia in Charlottesville and you score on your first 3 drives and they look like they're reeling, they're on their heels because of the tempo you're playing with, when you establish a big lead and they're struggling, let's say, to move the ball, this is when the head coach steps in and says, look, I got it. We got him. But let's possess the ball here. Let's possess the ball here a little bit.
I got you. Sure. Yeah. That's the Virginia example.
Alabama. The Alabama one's a toughie.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's 21-7 either side in the second quarter. I could see either of those scenarios. That doesn't mean it's going to. That's the thing that breakneck speed will do for you.
If you're up 21-7 in the first half against Alabama, buddy, there are going to be people. Yes, they're going to be very excited.
I wouldn't feel the game's over. It'd be like us having a 6-1 lead with our bullpen at Florida State. I'd be like, that's a good start.
I'm with you. I won't feel it's over, but you'll know right off the bat you can compete, and you'll have real momentum, and there'll be a sense of, hey, hold on to your ass. The second half's going to be fun.
Okay, you changed from butts to ass on that one.
Hour number 2, fourth coverage. Stay with. Hey, this is for my homeowner friends out there. You know who you are. When you get your grass cut, you're going to inspect the work, make sure it's good. Get your house painted, check around every corner and edge, make sure that's done right. Get a new roof, got to get eyes on those shimmering new shingles. Get your septic tank cleaned. Bet you're not popping your head down in there to take a look around. You got to trust it's done right. I'll make it easy. Go see my friend Greg Miller Septic. They're my guys. I trust them, and you can too. MillerSeptic.com. That's it. That's the commercial. That's the whole thing. Check them out. That's MillerSeptic.com.
Hey, everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing NMLS 373031.
Ain't nothing but a G-Pod, baby.
I am 99% sure that is not how the lyrics go.
Well, you like remixes, right?
Of course.
Well, think of this as a Grassroots Coffee remix per se, because Grassroots Coffee is now in the single-serve coffee pod game.
Dude, those single-serve coffee pods and cups are weak sauce.
Not Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. They have more coffee in them than regular single-serve pods and cups.
Seriously?
And not only do they have more coffee, they have a built-in filter for better brewing. They fit in most Keurig machines, and they are fully compostable.
It's still the small batch, slow roasted coffee you love, so go to grassrootscoffee.com and get your box of G-Pods today.
Baby.
See? Remix!
Well, actually, that's more of an homage.
Grassroots Coffee, locally owned, locally roasted, and made for everyone, loved everywhere.
Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. So very good.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Knowles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. Your sports flash update on Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee.
The Florida Panthers are headed back to the Stanley Cup final. They win their series against Carolina 4-1. They get a 5-3 victory yesterday. They're going to match up against either Dallas or Edmonton. Edmonton has a 3-1 series lead in the Western Conference Finals, and game number 5 is being played tonight in Dallas. Tampa Bay Rays baseball, they knocked off the Twins yesterday by a 5-0 score. Rays match up against Houston tonight. Shane Baz on the mound. He is 4-3. Marlins get a good win yesterday as they knock off the San Diego Padres by a 10-8 score. Miami is off today. Tomorrow, they're going to open up a series against the Giants. This Sports Flash is presented by Progressive. Bundle auto and home, renters, or condo insurance and save with Progressive. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
Will cost about 4 times the amount of the poster, which is actually absurd because no one will be looking at the frame, and if they are, then you severely overestimated how cool this poster is. But then you remember by switching your home and auto to Progressive, you could save hundreds and put it towards a classic 70s concert poster in an absurdly overpriced frame. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Do you have spring fever? Your only prescription is the Lawn Johns. Hi, it's Mark from the Lawn Johns. We can make your landscape more appealing by providing you with award-winning lawn care. With 4 levels of service, the Lawn Johns offers you more choices than the rest. More flowers, more mulch, or more pine straw all means that your home or office will be more beautiful than ever. So if you've got spring fever, go to thelawnjohns.com or just look for our big purple truck.
I gotta have more cowbell.
When you need the plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to wait?
Hey guys, we really need you over here. My toddler just flushed a whole bunch of toys down the toilet, and everything, and I mean everything, is backing up.
2 hours?
Hey guys, just checking in. The water has reached the hallway now, and it's getting pretty deep. Can you get here anytime soon?
4 hours?
Hey guys, can you please hurry? Now my wiener dog is doing the backstroke over here, and they're not known to be strong swimmers. Hey honey, grab his life jacket.
8 hours?
Oh, so now you're here.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. Our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. And now M&L Plumbing can also be your go-to for all septic tank pump-out services. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing. Your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or online at mnlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sometimes this is the way it happens, and this is why you don't, it's not for the faint of heart. You're not squeamish. Sometimes you take a quick break and check something and go, oh my. So the tournament is over for me.
Oh no.
Oh no. The Memorial is not how I planned to lead off the second hour, so just bear with me. I've got baseball news for you in a second. That will upset that guy from yesterday, whoever the hell that was. We talked a lot of football last hour, buddy. Like Cody, was that who it was?
I think so.
I don't remember. But so I got all excited because I like to gamble on the golf kids. And I bet on Shane Lowry this week, put some pizza money on him to win. I'm in another pool in which he's on a team that I drafted, and he's currently 3 under, shot a 69 today. He's tied for third. So Lowry's off to a good start. I'm like, all right, there we go, Shane. There we go, buddy. Let's go. And then one of my other guys that I drafted that I've also played in another league is Tommy Fleetwood. He's tied for fourth. So currently I have a guy in third and in fourth, and I'm like, okay, out here making money. Got top 5s and 10s and 20s sprinkled out. I'm ready to go. You know who my third pick was? Yeah, the guy at dead ass last. That'd be Daniel Berger, who shot an 81 today.
Oh, no.
Thanks, Daniel. With your sorry ass out here shooting an 81. What are we doing, sir?
My bets have been covered by ants.
Daniel Berger with a +9 on the afternoon. Thanks for playing grand opening, grand closing, so I can have the first and second place finisher of this tournament, and I'm not going anywhere thanks to Daniel Berger's 81. Did you go on a bender last night? Daniel Berger has a bunch of top 20s lately, is ranked in the top 30 again, has got his form back. What are we doing? Is he doing shots on the course? How do you throw up an 81? God, dog. I might bet money on you to play that course 5 times and shoot at least once better than 81, Tom Lang.
Where are they playing? The Memorial?
It's the Memorial. It's a hell of a course. I mean, it's beautiful. It's Muirfield Village. It's awesome. But damn it, man.
Move me up a tee box.
Okay, from the whites. You're shooting an 81. Maybe.
Oh, we're done here.
Yes.
5 cracks at it?
Let's go. You got 5 chances. You're going to beat Daniel Berger. God, dog, Daniel. Just kicking your boy's testicles repeatedly. That's no on no crime. Get it together, man. See if Daniel texted me, because I am on a rant here and I've got a text coming in. That would be funny. He's like, oh, I didn't have anything else to do. I know I'm going to be missing the cut, so I decided to tune into the Jeff Cameron Show. Thanks a lot, buddy.
I tuned into you so I could hear football talk and only football talk.
Well, Daniel.
And you're breaking down my round?
I have to, because sweet Jesus. I mean, anyhow, just had to get it off my chest, guys. That's a toughie. It's a toughie. I got the second and third place guy up. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I wrestled with it. I really thought long and hard about taking him or Aaron Rye. Should have gone with Aaron Rye.
I'm glad Shane Lowry had a nice day.
Me too.
That means that there's this guy up in Rockaway, true Irishman, a brogue that you can't understand a word he says.
Thick.
So anytime somebody Irish does something good, and they'll have the Gaelic football on or whatever, he'll go, one boy, like that. Shano. And so I heard 1 or 2 Shanos. I'm sure today.
Oh, he's feeling good.
Yes, because he didn't work for a living. He was always there. Always.
Loving life.
Watching Shane Lowry on a Thursday.
Let's solve for the future. I've got baseball news to do it with our friends at ISF. Yes, sir. ISF. Jonathan, we have a get-together slated soon, sir, maybe next week. You guys know ISF from right here in Tallahassee, but serving the entire country. It's a beautiful thing. They're in 40 different states, guys. Solving the future, bringing together their expertise. By the way, soon enough, I believe some of our friends from ISF will be at that Global Leadership Summit going on in August, which means it'll be almost football season. ISF will help get us there.
Will they have any say on college football at the Global Leadership Summit?
Saban speaking at ISF's Leadership Summit.
Is he really?
Yeah. He's one of the scheduled speakers.
Get your eye count up. It's like the count with Mike.
Experienced thought leaders, proven methodologies supporting meaningful change with a lasting impact. That's all well and good, but they work with groups that we work with here in Tallahassee, including Second Harvest of the Big Bend, which we appreciate. Out there collecting food last year before home games. ISF was with the Second Harvest. We appreciate that. We'll talk more about them as we move throughout the summer. Vellini is our pick to solve for the future. Joey Vellini, your starter tomorrow against Bethune-Cookman. It has been announced. I think many of you may have read that, but if not, now you know. That's the route they're going with.
Smart Link had alluded to it a couple of weeks back, really, when he was talking about aligning guys for the ACC tournament and that they had everybody at their disposal based upon the opponent that they were going to face in their opening game up in Durham. You know what that is. That has an eye towards regional play. Of course, he wants to win the ACC. Of course, he wants to win games in Durham because he wanted to be a top 8 national seed.
Nearly was,
but
anyhow.
You're going to line up your rotation in theory to make sure that everybody is all set and available in time for this week's games in the regional. And then on Sunday, he did it again when he said, well, the good news is that we can go with whoever we want to go with, which means we're not throwing Jamie Arnold in our first game. We're hoping that that's 6 p.m. on Saturday in the winner's bracket that Jamie Arnold takes the hill.
And dominates. Let's go, Jamie.
For potentially the final time at Florida State.
Potentially.
But you never know.
You mean here in Tallahassee?
Yes. We're coming out of the regional.
You're damn right.
I just mean
you're damn right.
The Mike Martin Field Mound. Yes, it could be the final time. I like this. Good choice. It's a bulldog you got going. I'm surprised we haven't heard the term bulldog with Vellini as much this year because he personifies pitching bulldog.
I would have started Mendez.
Really?
I'm not worried about, but I might have started some other arm. That's the kind of risk taker I am, buddy. I'm out here rolling with Martinez or something. I'm like, let's go.
Mason Martinez. Full faith and credit.
Let's go.
Mason Martinez, one of the best arms we have.
We're going with Mason Martinez. Get that win, and let's roll on Big River with all 3 of our guys available.
Riverboat Jeff.
Yep, I'm doing it. And if it backfires, I'll accept the criticism. But I'll also have all 2 of my guys.
You can accept the criticism from the stands in the 3rd inning because it'll be raining down upon you.
Oh, Mendez has been one of our best pitchers lately. I could have gone that route.
But you didn't in this exercise. No, you didn't even go with Mendez.
I went with Mason Martinez.
You said Peyton Prescott. Let's do it.
All right, Peyton, you've wanted to be a starter, all you bullpen guys. How about you get your feet wet in the postseason? Here we go.
I want you to FaceTime with Will Zierzow tonight to understand what it means to excel in a one-off.
Oh, man. That's funny, Noel Dad. Well done. We're going with Chris Kinnear so he can allow his own runners to score for once. Well played. Well played. Also, Brett, that was well played. Berger pulled a Clanton. Great. Ooh. Great. Ooh, that does sting. And, man, it's accurate. Well, thanks, Luke.
He didn't shoot an 81.
He shot a 76 or 77.
76.
It was ass.
It's not an 81.
It killed us. It's a toughie. Very frustrating.
He won the Tallahassee Regional. Okay.
He sure did. We were all excited. Bellini is a good choice. That's fine. I like it. Yes, we both knew that they weren't going to go with Arnold in this game, and they're not, and they shouldn't. And Bellini should be able to get the win here. Should be in the operative word. I mean, it's baseball. Good team they're playing.
Assuming the weather's okay tomorrow because it rainy on and off during the day. That second game is really interesting. Mississippi State Northeastern.
It is.
I'm excited to watch that.
Northeastern got 48 wins. Did I see that right?
They got nearly 200 steals.
Unlike the wind blows, guys. That's my God.
That's unbelievable.
That is just something.
I feel like Mac Brown watching Beatty. Unbelievable. They just keep running.
Yeah. 48-9 is that Northeastern team. 37th in the RPI. The only win you've heard about is the one over Kansas State, 11-4 on April the 15th. Oh, yeah, they're number 22 in the RPI. team they beat, Kansas State, was 37th in the RPI at the time. I apologize for that. But they had the CAA Coach of the Year, and Mike Glavin has to be, right? Winning 48 games and stealing 200 bases. There's a whole lot of suck it. We're running. We're still running.
You issue a walk, we may just sprint until you stop us.
Man, I'm looking at some guys who have done some things on that team. Harrison Feinberg is the CAA Player of the Year. You were mentioning him, 379 batting average, 737 slugging, 18 home runs, 36 stolen bases, 66 RBIs. Are they playing children in this league? Are they facing like 9-year-olds?
They're on a softball diamond.
I mean, what are we doing here?
Stealing every base.
And their pitching numbers are unbelievable, too. This Gottsman kid is pitched 78 1/3 with a 2.30 ERA with 91 strikeouts and 17 walks.
Won't see him.
Will Jones, then, 69 1/3, 182 with 72 Ks and 17 walks.
Oh, maybe we will see that first guy.
Uh-huh. Wow. That is something. As for, again, who we're seeing, Bethune-Cookman, look, I kind of joke about what we were going to do. Any team that reaches a regional is capable of beating you in a singular game. I get that, and you've got to respect your opponents. I do think Bellini is a guy that, the mental makeup is not going to cause him to be too nervous and have one of those unfortunate moments in the postseason that you sometimes see when you flip around and watch a lot of these games. You'll see guys making their first ever postseason start, or guys take the hill in a game that's not necessarily a must win, but pretty close to it, and walk the first 3 guys they face. I mean, you see that stuff.
Sure. Well, psychologically, I mean, we already played them this year as 9-7. So I don't think they're going to be terribly afraid. We got up to a lead 4-0. They pushed it back to 4-3.
Yeah.
So just this isn't something where they walk into the building and they go, "Oh my God, it's Florida State." Now, they've already been here and they have competed. So they're not going to be afraid, and they're going to have their best arm. This is how it all works. We've been scared before on a Friday. Hell, we've lost on a
Friday. I've been there. I saw us lose 1-0. I mean, I've seen those moments where you're like, well, something. You're up against it.
Need to win out, I suppose.
Yeah. And we have done that too.
We had the 0-2 and Q, which was, I don't have the audio anymore. Remember the home run?
Shot heard around the world.
We had the delay and left the guy in to pitch.
Yes, Parrish.
Very good, Drew Parrish.
And I was furious at the time. And when they rolled back out there, I first guessed it. So did the whole stands. What are you doing? That ball was hit to Texas.
We had a little sweet.
Oh, we did have the audio, didn't we? We have given up some bombs and big moments. That kid for TCU that year.
Oh, good Lord.
With the spinity do.
Yeah, that old Mike McGee had a Dylan G slider, didn't he, at times?
Well, when he got tired, and he would leave it up, and it would be pissed on. And that one, I remember going, oh, my God, that may have left the state. Look at that thing. It is still going while I'm having this conversation with you. This is brutal. It's never going to land. That kid stood there for an hour watching that thing. Yeah, that was a toughie.
The good news is we have a guy who can deliver the thunder like that in Miles Bailey.
Oh, yeah. And
where the announcers will go, oh.
And we've seen Max Williams,
oh, yeah.
Hit a ball a long, long way. That home run earlier this year, I think it was against USF early in the year to straightaway center that was off the backstay. Whoo, that was like 450, 460. That was a bomb.
Could stand for him to get hot.
Yeah. He's had quite the swing and miss going for some time here.
If I was to solve for our regional future, having Max be Max would be a great way to start.
Yeah, I agree. He's got to get back to listen. You'll have everybody locked in. They're well rested, good to go. That is solving for the future with our friends at ISF, a trusted leader and collaborator with businesses, including state government, all around the country. Promised results, stability, you name it. ISF.com. Oh, I missed it. Another. I got to tell you, Optimus Climb, he writes, Jeff, can we solve for the future regarding Tibbs' hair? I think he has. I think he's accepted that this is what he has to do. It's the tight moosed, stick to the scalp all 7 strands. That's what we're going to part it. We're going to part what hairs we do have. We're going to keep it. You know, it's not mousse, actually. What is that? Is anybody use
Gorilla
mousse?
Glue?
Yeah. Some sort of sheen. Mousse existed back in the day. Does mousse still exist?
I'm sure it does.
There are hair products, I understand. But is mousse a thing?
I think it still is. You go to get a haircut at any fine barbershop, and they
use sculpting.
They have the sculpting stuff. They have the mousse. They have the half and half.
I don't see the mousse. I don't see the mousse anymore. I don't see anything anymore. I don't have hair.
Is this the old fake cappuccino commercials where the person be in the kitchen like, well, this is the best cappuccino I've ever had. Don't tell them.
I think when I was like 18 or 19, I had all this hair. I'd be, I had the little mousse. All right, let's go.
Did you ever use hairspray?
No, I never used hairspray, but I did use mousse and gel when I grew. I had really long, thick hair at one time, believe it or not. And my senior season, before the football season began, I said, I'll cut my hair only after we lose. Well, thankfully, we never did. We went undefeated. We went 10-0. And my hair was like that. It was Bono. It was down to my chest. And I was having to mousse it back before I put my helmet on because it would get in my eyes. Those were the days, Tom.
I can still remember sharing a bathroom with my oldest sister when I was a kid, and the smell of the hairdryer and the specific hairspray. That's something that a kid now wouldn't smell. Like, they wouldn't know what that means.
Hairdryer and hairspray combo. Yeah. It just permeated the bathroom.
I'd have to keep my door closed if I wanted my room to smell normal at night.
Our age difference is 15 years, so sometimes we find things and where
she's 2 years your junior, so that was the
13,
era.
Yeah, but so yes, and I remember it well. I'm curious, did you use what were the pimple pad things that you wipe your face with?
God,
what were those things called? You start with a Q.
The answer is
a Q.
The little circles.
Yes, but you could also do the wipes with them. What were those things called? Damn it, man.
Well, we also had Noxzema. Noxzema was everything back in the day.
Yeah, that would dry it up. Oxy pads. That's right. Octavio gets it. Oxy. Clearasil, Oxy pads. That is right.
Clearasil. We also had the green stuff that they sold over. It was you had to have it delivered. It was over the phone. Oh God, what the hell?
Minoxidil?
No, this is when I was in high school. So this is decidedly early 2000s acne treatment.
It's funny
because
do me
very good.
Let me tell you something now that makes you laugh. I have 2 teenage boys. One's about to turn 15 next week, and the other one's 17. Now, the 15-year-old's going through the stage, and I do not envy that, where you just randomly, because you're 15, wake up and get a zit underneath your chin the size of grease, and you're like, good God, man. And they're always trying to fix that. And I remember going through that stage. That's a rough stage.
It is. Proactive was the brand for my generation.
You can't hide. You're going to school. That mountain on your cheek ain't going anywhere. You're just like, okay.
You got to eat it.
You just got to wear that. And they always tell you, don't pop them. Don't pop them. It'll scar. I'm like, screw you. I popped them all the time. Loved it. It was something oddly satisfaction. They provided odd satisfaction to be able to pop that.
I suppose.
It was great. You're like, yeah, I got it. It's Jeff Cameron Show.
It's not resolving the past. It's solving the future.
We already solved for the future. We moved on to Zit Talk. 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
All right, let's talk. If your grill wobbles when you flip a burger or it needs a good kick just to light it, it's time for a serious upgrade. That's where Hearth and Patio in Tallahassee comes in. They've got gas grills, charcoal grills, smokers, even the fancy ones that make you look like you actually know what you're doing. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a full-blown backyard pitmaster, Hearth and Patio's team will help you find the perfect setup. They actually know grills. Like, they can tell you which one makes the ribs taste the best. And trust me, there's no better feeling than serving up a plate of those perfectly grilled, amazing ribs while your neighbor stares over the fence with pure jealousy. So stop flipping burgers on that rusted-out dinosaur and call Hearth and Patio today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Your steaks, your burgers, and honestly, your whole neighborhood will thank you. Hearth and Patio, where your grilling dreams come true.
Do you own a small business? Let me guess. You started your business so you could get bogged down with payroll and bookkeeping, office tasks, and other paperwork, right? Probably not. I'm Craig Collins with Collins Income Tax Solutions. Allow me to help you get out from behind your desk and get back to doing what you love. For any of your payroll, bookkeeping, or other business services, give me a call today and allow me to take it off your plate. You can find my contact information online at collinsincometexsolutionsllc.com.
Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653.
That chip turned into a crack? No worries. Better call Seminole. We'll fix your glass faster than you can say road trip.
Road trip?
Mobile service, expert installs, and no headaches. Call 850-539-4527, 850-539-4527, or go to SeminoleAutoglass.com. Your glass, your rules, but seriously, better call Seminole.
Seminole Auto Glass. Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit isf.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Yeah, I'm still stuck over here looking at that round from my man Daniel Berger. Sorry. Also, what's going on with Ludwig these days? He's struggling today again. Damn it, man.
Guy who's not struggling right now is Michael Harris, who robbed a homer, a 3-run homer. It would have been one of the nicer home run robberies you'll see this year. Center field fence in Philly.
Nicely done.
Extremely impressive.
Still 2-0 Philly?
Still 2-0 Philly. Would have been 5.
Fun watching Skeens yesterday as he dominated and continues to do things that are really quite amazing. I saw, it kind of made me sad. They did this last night, and when you see certain statistics and you are looking like you're kind of like, oh, okay, I was pulling this up.
Is that Daniel Berger calling you?
No, it's not Daniel Berger calling me, but it was. Where is this? This is funny. I saw this stat. No, there it is. This made me sad, actually. Look at this. Pitchers in Major League Baseball history with 245 plus Ks and an ERA sub 2.30 in their first 35 appearances. So there have only been 2 in the history of baseball. 2 pitchers in Major League Baseball history with 245 or more strikeouts and a sub 2.30 ERA in their first 35 professional appearances. One of them is Paul Skeens.
Doc Gooden?
Jose Fernandez.
Oh,
rest in peace.
Damn.
That is heartbreaking. Jose Fernandez, lest we forget how dominant he was, had a 2.09 ERA over his first 35 appearances and struck out 252. Paul Skeens has a 2.03 ERA in his first 35 appearances and has struck out 247. Only two guys to do it. That is crazy. And, I was reminded of how good Jose Fernandez was and how fun he was to watch pitch. Those two gentlemen have something in common. At one time, Paul Skeens was a very, very good offensive player, and we live in an era where we don't get to see him hit the way we did Fernandez. And the other thing that they have in common is something that I think most, not all, dominant pitchers to this extent, that kind of domination have, and that is massive trunks, huge legs, just they're big, strong. It's an easy 95. It's an easy 97. You're not seeing the overthrowing like you see from guys who throw 100 out of the pen, but they're languid.
Right,
Like you're not seeing that.
Max effort, so to speak.
You're seeing, here's 97. I got a lot more where that came from. I can do this all day. But if need be, bases loaded, we're in a jam, 3-2 pitch, and I know what I got to do here. Here comes 102 and hit it. And you might, Skeens struck out Ohtani and made him look terrible last year in a game. And then in his second at bat, Ohtani hit 450 and the two smiled at each other. Ohtani jumped on a 100-mile-per-hour fastball at the letters. He was like, I'm swinging this first pitch because I know if I get down what you're going to do. You throw 4 other pitches for strikes. I love that in baseball. It still exists. You see it every now and again. The elite players in a pitcher-catcher matchup, which makes the sport unique, if they respect each other and they come after each other, a pitcher's like, I'm not walking you. So we're going to get it on. Here we go. If a pitcher wins that matchup against an elite hitter, I love the pitcher that just asks for the ball and, whatever, moves on. And I love the hitter that you lock him up, whatever it might be, that doffs the cap. And then if he gets you, the next time the pitcher gives it back. It's beautiful to see. I remember Buster Posey having a bat like that back in the day against the dominant Marlins pitcher at the time who ended up going to Texas. Not
Burnett?
No, not AJ Burnett. No, who later threw a no-hitter for the Pirates with 9 walks. I'll think of it. He had an at bat where he got locked up on a third strike, and it was the coolest thing because Buster Posey, class act, just turned and looked out to the mound and went off the cap and walked away.
Pavano? No, he was good for a stretch.
No, I'll think of it, and when I do, you'll go.
I'm gonna stop guessing because you're offended by these guesses.
I'm not offended, and I appreciate
of course not.
Well, Pavano was
he had a moment.
He had a moment, but that's a reach. That I would not have described Pavano as.
I'm trying to think of guys who went and played for Texas. Like Beckett's out. There's no way it was Beckett.
No, it wasn't Beckett. Although that's a good guess.
Josh Johnson.
That's who it was. Remember that great year that he had. You remember that he was a dominant pitcher. And he could dial it up to 98, and he also had the off-speed off of that.
Big body. Yeah. He was a hoss.
Massive. Yeah, big old dudes that throw easy 98. And you watch. Now, there are guys who can, look, nobody was more dominant for a 3-year stretch. In fact, won 2 Cy Youngs or 3 Cy Youngs in 4 years. Nobody was more dominant than Pedro Martinez. Do you know? And I was stunned to hear this. The last back-to-back Cy Young Award winner in the American League was Pedro.
Oh, wow. I would have guessed King Felix for sure.
No.
I would have put money on that.
Back-to-back. The last one, Pedro.
Was it 98, 99?
Oh, you go 99 through 2002, and you look at Pedro, I think it's or 98 through 2002. There's 3 Cy Youngs in 4 years. It's insane. And he's
like him and Clemens.
It's just the most dominant stretch of pitching you'll ever see and that was a steroid era, just domination. I'll move on. We'll get to football here in a second. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk
You're
Radio.
welcome, Cody.
Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The mother and stepdad of a 5-year-old girl who died last week in Tallahassee are now facing murder charges in her death. The girl's 23-year-old mother, Chloe Spencer, and 35-year-old stepfather, Daniel Spencer, were each officially charged Tuesday with second-degree murder. 5-year-old Missy Mogul was found unresponsive at a southeast Tallahassee home. The couple was home at the time. Missy was later pronounced deceased at a hospital. Court documents on Wednesday revealed that Chloe and Daniel Spencer are accused of killing the 5-year-old by asphyxiation. The mom and stepdad were denied bail last week after being accused of cruelly neglecting and abusing the 5-year-old. They're each facing numerous charges. A judge also ordered each of them to have no contact with any witness or minors, including their other children. Daniel Spencer submitted a conditional plea of not guilty. Chloe Spencer also filed a written plea of not guilty. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Storms likely this afternoon, otherwise overcast. High temperatures reach up to 89. South winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Slight chance for storms tonight, 71. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times tomorrow. Chance of thunderstorms. High temperatures reach up to 89. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 79 degrees.
Construction services, T-Bar Construction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those dumb leaks. Call 850-766-134. T-Bar Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Bar Construction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds
there's
of.
There's like families. There's different families. And,
so there's if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch
or the Yeti, right?
Yeah,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape. And but
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Florida's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
So, if you look at the 2026 industry ranking football team recruiting rankings for On3, Tom, who sits at number 1? Do you know?
Oh, Lord. Georgia.
No, LSU. Number 2 is Southern Cal. Southern Cal,
and they're losing dudes. They've lost a few in the last couple weeks.
Mm-hmm. Ohio State is 3rd. Shocker.
Southern Cal, because they have like 50 players committed to them. And I
26 currently, yes.
Most teams have what in the top 10? Like 14?
Yeah, like LSU has 9.
Right. 26.
Yeah, they've got 26. Notre Dame is number 4. Georgia's number 5. Texas A&M is number 6. Miami is number 7. Alabama's number 8. Clemson's number 9. Oregon is number 10. By the way, Clemson and Miami are both, ACC schools, both in the top 10. Penn State at number 11. Tennessee at number 12. Auburn at number 13. Texas at number 14. Ole Miss at number 15. You get my point, man.
We're 16th?
Yeah. And we'll see, because Michigan is going to surpass us. And what I don't like to see is that it appears that SMU will pass us. SMU. Bubba, we got to see some changes here.
Hey, man, we got an OB for a 5-star quarterback next month. 5 stars.
I I'm aware of the hows and whys, and it's fairly complicated, but golly. It's frustrating. This is to your point last hour.
Well, I think by July 4th, we'll have a better sense of how much this new staff can recruit. And because they're doing so off of their own reputations independent of 2 and 10. It's the new coach smell. It's not quite the full-on new car smell that you get with a new head coach. But the efforts that Herb Hand makes or Evan Cooper makes or Tony White, I think you'll get to see the fruits of that labor at some point here by July 4th. And you'll know whether or not we've got a full-on crisis or not, I think, at that point. It doesn't mean that you have to be number 7 in the country in the recruiting rankings at that point. You just got to get a few yeses. If you're going to host upwards of 6 dozen or 7 dozen official visits, you got to get a couple of kids to say, yeah.
It's something. I mean, you look at, I went to the individual sites one by one, people that we compete against in the space. And then I also looked at ESPN's and, look, I get it. That's why you usually take the collection. But Southern Cal's number 1 on ESPN's list. Notre Dame's number 2. If Notre Dame starts recruiting to that level, that's insane. But you go through this, and Ohio State's 3, Penn State's 4, Clemson's 5. The recruiting is starting to come around there. And as usual, they've got an incoming receiver that's a stud. Damn it, man. Texas A&M. Kansas? What? Syracuse is out recruiting us. Illinois is out recruiting us, according to their rankings. North Carolina is out recruiting us. Louisville, Miami is out recruiting us.
Carrollwood,
Rutgers,
Lutz.
We're barely in the top 25. We're behind Arkansas.
Well, if you want to look at that,
Boston College.
Every day, it's going to piss you off until we get to the middle of July, or about maybe call it the 7th or the 8th of the month. Wait till then, see where we're at, because I know where we're at right now.
It ain't good.
And it's not a good place.
It's not a good place.
But let's see the OVs happen. Usually the kids want to go back home so they can go live on Twitch or whatever. And they want a few days, to say, well, I've got these other suitors lined up. I know you offered me 80. I want 105. Or can we make this happen? And then if we can get to 105, I'm going to call Hayes Foster right now, and he's going to do my edit so that when it releases, I have this really cool edit of me standing on top of Doak Campbell, flexing. That's what you got to wait for.
I think, Tom, I would enjoy a phrase. I'll play off of what you did. You would talk about a curmudgeon at this point. I'd be like, now you go and twitch it up or whatever you're going to do there, kid. Like that, twitching it up is what we should tell the kids. Now you go do whatever you're going to do. Twitch it up there, son, and, maybe put you in a Superman cape or something flying over Doak. I don't know how you get it.
but think about it. I mean, his cape is really our throwback colors. It's ketchup and mustard.
Yeah, you call Hayes and you get him to have a Superman cape made for you out of the garnet and gold, flying over Doak, making plays. Have the new ribbon boards all in the drawing.
It might be on a thing called Kick. So I saw it today when I was logging into our streaming software.
What is Kick?
I don't know, but it's now a destination that we can stream to. It's like, hey, just in case we can go live on Kick. If you, is that the new one? Is that the new thing? Because there was Snapchat and Instagram, and then there was Twitch, and then there's TikTok. Like, is Kick the new one? Is that what we're doing now?
I've never heard of Kick. Doesn't mean anything, but I assume that Kick is a very popular thing. There's the Twitter. There's Kick. There's Twitch.
There's also Hoppin' or Hopin', Hopin.
No, Dad knows that Kick is from 10 years ago.
Is it really?
Are they using Snapchat? Is Snapchat still a place for recruits and kids and people to post whatever?
It's still somewhat relevant. Did you know we could stream live to LinkedIn? Dear God.
So we can stream live to all of these places. Why are we not streaming live to Kick and LinkedIn and Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram and X and MySpace?
Because we don't want to go to LinkedIn and get all these people to give you positive word of the day.
Yeah.
I founded my corporate Seminoles. But my motivation stems from only inside.
Let's stream to what was the one right after MySpace?
Well, Facebook.
Was that the one? What was the one just before MySpace? Was there one before MySpace?
Oh, there might have been. But yes, it was MySpace versus Facebook, and Facebook won out because you had to have a .edu. You had to be a college kid, so people felt more safe there.
Yeah, but alas, yeah. And then everybody had to go back to their college Facebook pages and go, oh, no, we've got to erase all of this.
Dear God.
Yeah.
The one function that was the worst was wall. It was the art wall where you could basically get into an MS Paint and leave a drawing on somebody's.
Oh, and people would draw. Yes.
All kinds of stuff.
Oh,
you have a new post. Somebody posted it on your wall.
Oh, you're like, oh, no.
Judging by who it was and what time it was like 3:21 a.m.
Oh, you're like, here we go.
On your wall.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody's drawn a scrotum on your wall. There's no doubt that has happened. You're like, great, here we go.
That was
Here we
Shield. Go. That was Family Guy's take on the Shield. Detective Scroats.
This sounds like the conversation that you and I have had before while doing this show over the years. Back in the day, it's now a level of maturity that didn't exist back then, where we would get the text from
Maddie.
From Matt Millar, and those texts were always interesting. Like it would pop up, and I'd go, "Oh, what do we got here? Oh my!"
And there weren't privacy settings on the iPhones in those days. Whatever the message said, it said. I remember when it first changed to where it would just pop up on your screen and say iMessage.
Yeah.
Before it could read your retina and show you what it said, it would just be. And so you'd have to flip the phone
you're like,
upside down.
Can I check this?
No, because it happened more than once, and I've told him this, in our Monday morning all-hands meeting.
You're like, you can't send that to me. First of all, don't send that to me, but also don't send that to me on a work day at 8 a.m. when I'm in a meeting.
Monday, 9 to 10. Just don't, man. And it'd be like 9:27.
I'd be like, oh, no. Geez. Oh, he's just asking if we want to play golf later. Okay. All right. Yeah.
No, Dad, yes, that is correct.
Oh, and any number of other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, just where you're like, okay. All right. So that happened. And some of them, you just laugh. You just instantly laugh. Like, okay. Jesus.
We'd be listening to the owner of the company talk about why he can't gas up the station van. And you get that.
Well, if you want gas for the station van, you got to sell. That's an electric bill.
We're in programming. Why are we sitting here? Is this not a discussion for the salespeople?
This is a different conversation for the folks that you're mad at, that you're really mad at, because these ratings are huge. So I don't need to be here. I'm doing my part.
I've got some affidavits and Cowherd promos to download. Can I leave, please?
The wish list from the SEC and the Big Ten is to play one another. And I have a wish list too. I would like for us to leave this conference and begin that process of playing the Big Ten every year as well. I would love it. I would love for us to, I am at the place now where, record be damned, I've wrapped my mind around. We live in a new era where you don't have to go 11-1 to make anything. You can go 10-3 and make it if your schedule is such that you're playing Florida, Clemson, Miami, Notre Dame. Throw in a Michigan every year. Throw in an Ohio State. Throw in a Texas. Throw in a Wisconsin. Let's go. Let's make the home and home a thing again.
Well, yeah, it's essentially, it's kind of the better, it is definitely the better version of what we're talking about this year, which is you've got 4 tough games. Can you win one of them?
Well,
because that'll be the path to 8-4, 9-3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the path to 8-4, 9-3. In headier times, you could schedule 6 really difficult games and say, can we just go 3-3 in those? Because that's a strong 9-3, and we're going to go to the playoff if we split our 6 marquee games that we play in a given season. So if you had Notre Dame,
oh, you mean in the future?
I'm saying headier times. That's what I said. In headier times in the future.
Question. Yes.
If you got Michigan, Ohio State, Florida, Oregon, whatever, and Notre Dame,
you go 9-3, you're going,
and you go 3-3 in those 6 difficult games, and you sweep your other 6. Man, they can't hold us out of the playoff. That's a great 9-3.
Man, yeah, dare to dream. Have fun with this. You're going to need real depth and talent. It's going to be fun because if you play a schedule where you have 6 really tough games, remember where this is headed is that the other ones aren't East Texas A&M. The other ones are like, Kentucky.
Right.
Which, in a given Saturday on the road, you play a little lackadaisical, that's your ass.
Yes, well, it's 13-12 is what the final is.
Go ask Ole Miss.
That's right.
That's the argument that they make anyhow a lot of times, but I think that's real. I think even if you do it in the Big Ten, look, if you're 6 difficult games in the Big Ten, let's say, are Ohio State, Michigan,
Oregon,
Southern Cal,
Iowa.
Yeah.
Iowa would be tough if you were playing at that place.
On the road.
It's like a race to 17.
Lots of people have struggled against Iowa on the road. Yeah, without question. Yeah, man, it's harder to come up with 6 really good games in the Big Ten than it is the SEC. But Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, Iowa, Michigan, Southern Cal, let's say are your tough games.
Here's an interesting exercise. Is it though? Is it tougher to find 6? Because I think that most conferences cut off around 4 or 5. Now, you could say that there are more middleweights in the SEC, but I don't think you've got a murderer's row of 6 opponents in the SEC. You certainly didn't last year.
Not last year. But if we're going to go, okay, I'll give it to you. Let's say here are the 6, okay? Texas, Georgia, Alabama, LSU. In a given year, I'm going to have to throw in other teams that you're right. They kind of trade out.
Even LSU in the past several years has been perennial underachievers. Underachievers.
But they win 9 games and they're ranked. I mean, they're not.
But it's not like what you're thinking of when you think Ohio State, Alabama.
Yeah, and one of the good years, let's say, by the way, if the SEC's on a roll and all of the premier brands are good, well, then now you got a problem because you've got Oklahoma, Texas, Florida, Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama, Tennessee, LSU, Texas A&M even. All of a sudden you're up against it.
I think, yes. Yeah, if they're all rolling at the same time, but that's never happened.
Well, let me try to get everybody rolling out of the Big Ten. Brands, all right? Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, Southern Cal. I mean, it sounds weird to say, but if they're operating at peak efficiency, you'd have to put them in there. And then you pick the 6th if you like. It's either going to be Iowa or Washington, right? And then from there, you might get a respite against everybody else. Well, I didn't include Wisconsin.
Michigan State, Wisconsin.
In a given year.
Yeah.
I think
they're equivalent to the Tennessees and Penn States of the world. Like, that's the same kind of weight class, right? Wisconsin, Tennessee, Wisconsin, Ole Miss. I mean, it's all the same.
Yeah. Weird. The problem with this Wisconsin and throwing them in the mix at all is, every year it happens. It just happened last year. Like Alabama plays Wisconsin in Wisconsin and beats their ass by 30, and it's not even competitive. You're like, well, who are you? You're not any good. I never trust you.
I say the same thing about a Tennessee team Tennessee should have lost to Florida last year in addition to the number of games they did lose. Ole Miss finds a way to choke down the stretch to not make the playoff because that's what Lane does. And they don't exactly have a 30-year run where you go, well, these were the 5 years where Ole Miss was one of the top 2 or 3 teams.
No, Ole Miss doesn't have that. Now, that said,
Auburn's had a better run in the last 20, 30 years than Ole Miss has, and they're way down.
Yeah. Tennessee did win 10 games last year.
They did. Yes.
Yes. They weren't terrible. They're not great.
They felt hollow, though. They weren't one of those teams where you're like, they get in the playoff and, look out for Tennessee. They could win the whole thing.
They had to face Ohio State, and they got their ass beat.
Yeah.
And their quarterback walked into the room and asked for more money prior to the game.
They were better than Indiana, but if you put them on a neutral field, I don't know. Indiana could have won that game.
I would have picked Tennessee, but
right, Vegas would have as well. But
I think Clemson would have beat Indiana. I think that many teams in this sorry league might have beat Indiana. I'm not sold on Indiana. This would be interesting to see what Indiana is this year. That was something. By the way, doing this exercise gets you very angry again because you know what I did? I went to the ACC and said, well, what are the 6 that we would name from afar? And you'd go, okay, the conference is rolling. What does it look like? Florida State, Clemson, obviously, way up here. Then, and again, conference is rolling is the scenario. Then Miami, Louisville, SMU, I guess.
NC State, I guess.
They've
had their moments in the last.
It gets tough, man. It does. Like
I'd pick NC State before North Carolina.
What you would really need is Virginia Tech, Clemson, SMU, Miami, Florida State, Louisville, all to be good, and then you could sprinkle in sort of a North Carolina, maybe even a Pitt in a given year. But the Virginia Tech has to be part of that equation.
Yeah, you could get Pitt in there or Georgia Tech, like feisty teams.
Yeah, well, Georgia Tech was very feisty.
So was Stanford for several years there,
but not anymore.
Not anymore. Hey, Andrew Luck is not having it.
They won 2 conference games last year, which is one more conference game than we won.
They doubled our conference win total.
They did. And they won a grand total of 3 games, which is one more than we won.
They had a better season.
Oh, without question. We didn't win a single road game in the ACC. They did. It was the difference.
Didn't they beat Louisville, too?
Stanford was a very weird team last year. They had that crazy win. What did they have last year? Oh, I can't find it now.
I thought it was Louisville at home.
Their schedule this year, buddy, is I think you're right about that. This year it's Hawaii, BYU, Boston College, Virginia, San Jose State, SMU, Florida State, Miami, Pitt, North Carolina, Cal, and Notre Dame. Damn, Stanford.
They did beat Louisville 38-35 in November.
Stunning.
November. I'm sure that Lee Sterling had that pick.
Man, and it's why when we go out there, we're going to be nervous. And Tom, you and I are going to be like 10:30 at night, having a cold one, doing our watch along.
Sipping with shaky hands.
Go, boys. Let's get it together.
4 straight punts for both teams to start the game.
It feels like that, doesn't it? Tied at 7 going to the 4th, huh? This is a tough one.
We had 2 drives short-circuited by drops, wide open down the field.
Oh, I don't even want to think about it. Bonus hour coming up. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Is your lunch break feeling a little bland? Escape the ordinary with a visit to Café de Martín. Whether it's a fresh ceviche or a steaming plate of arroz con pollo, our Peruvian flavors turn any lunch hour into a culinary adventure. Fast, flavorful, and always unforgettable. Café de Martín is your new go